This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy, and that's my closet full of all the stuff that I love. And today, I'm going to try to get through this entire episode without too many edits in case I need to start coughing or something. And that's because the lovely Mrs. the Kazdoy Closet just got back from a cruise and brought me a very special present. And that present was a case of COVID. And there's my positive test right there. So hopefully you will never see one of these in your own life. But we're going to persevere. And just the other day I was looking at my collection, trying to pick out something I was going to watch. And I noticed I have an awful lot of horror films. So what did I do about that? I went out and bought some more horror films, of course. But I'm going to blame the recent Scream Factory Shocktober sale because they had some things I wanted, and each disc was only about $15 or so. So let's check it out. The first three films that I bought during this sale, I actually already had in this old DVD collection called the Hammer Horror Series, which was released in 2005 and has 8 different films on it. But I kind of violated my double dipping rule, and I justified it kind of lamely by saying, well, the ones I'm getting now are on Blu-ray and they have a bunch of extra features. So that's what I did. So going chronologically, this is what I picked up. First off, The Brides of Dracula from 1960. This is a Hammer Studios film. It's about vampire hunter Van Helsing, who returns to Transylvania to destroy a vampire who has designs on a beautiful young schoolteacher. The great Peter Cushing plays Van Helsing, and the great Terence Fisher directed a lot of classic Hammer horror films. And this is a collector's edition that comes with a slipcover, and it comes with some reversible artwork, which looks like it might be the original artwork, I'm not sure. And it has several extras on it. So that's Brides of Dracula. The second film I picked up during that sale is The Curse of the Werewolf from 1961, another Hammer film. And in 18th century Spain, an adopted boy becomes a werewolf and terrorizes the inhabitants of his town. Oliver Reed stars as the werewolf. This is his first horror film. Terence Fisher once again directs. This is also a collector's edition with several extras and some reversible artwork. Let me show you that, which looks like it could be the original. I love that old lurid type of artwork there. Next up, from 1964, The Evil of Frankenstein, another Hammer film. This is about Dr. Frankenstein returning to his original village to continue his experimental research and ends up reviving his old creature. Peter Cushing shows up again. This time he's playing Dr. Frankenstein. Freddie Francis directs. He directed several Hammer films, along with a couple of horror anthologies like The Torture Garden and Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. He was also the cinematographer for The Elephant Man and the remake of Cape Fear. This is a collector's edition. It has the slipcover. It has some reversible artwork, which I will show you right here. Pretty cheesy. I like that artwork there. And it has several extras on it as well. I did watch this one already, and I left a Letterboxd review if you want to check it out. Next up, from 1967, The Mummy's Shroud, another Hammer film. This is taking place in 1920, where some archaeologists discover the tomb of an ancient Egyptian prince. However, his mummy comes to life if you read the words on his burial shroud, and I have a feeling people are going to end up reading those words, and he's going to come back to life. Andre Morell stars. He was in some really good films like Ben-Hur and Barry Lyndon and The Bridge on the River Kwai. And John Gilling directed and co-wrote this. He also worked on 2 films I really like, The Reptile and Plague of the Zombies. I've wanted this one for a long time. I think because I just really like the trailer and I like some of the extras here. So far, these first 4 films are all Hammer films featuring those classic monsters, the Mummy, Frankenstein, Dracula, and the werewolf. Here's the extras, by the way, in case you want to see that. So the next two films I'm going to talk about were really kind of outliers and not really horror. And the first of those two films is Colossus, the Forbin Project from 1970, really a science fiction film. And hoping to prevent war, the US government gives a supercomputer total control over launching nuclear missiles. My hunch is that was probably not a good idea. Joseph Sargent directed. He also directed the original The Taking of Pelham 123 and lots of classic TV like Star Trek and The Fugitive and The Man from U.N.C.L.E. James Bridges wrote the screenplay. He also wrote The China Syndrome and The Paper Chase. I've wanted this one for a long time. I saw it as a teenager the first time. I think it's still relevant today with everything happening with the use of AI and the growth of AI. In fact, I just read an article about AI and they mentioned this film in the article. There are a couple of extras here, not too much. And this one wasn't always available. I kept track of it, and sometimes it would be on Amazon. Sometimes you had to go through a third-party seller. So I kept track of it, and then it popped up, and there it was available. It's still going for 40% off on Amazon if you're interested. And finally, we have A Single White Female from 1992. This is more of a thriller or a psychological thriller. It's about a woman who advertises for a roommate, but finds something very strange when her new tenant moves in. Barbette Schroeder directed. He also directed Barfly, which I did an episode on if you want to check that out, and Reversal of Fortune. Bridget Fonda stars. She was also in an incredible film called The Simple Plan that I highly recommend to you. I think this is really the height of her career. Obviously, she's part of the Fonda family, Henry Fonda, Peter Fonda, etc. And I believe she's married to Danny Elfman, who was the head of Oingo Boingo and then did a lot of soundtracks for some Tim Burton films. Her last film was in 2002, so I guess she is retired from acting at this point. Her co-star is Jennifer Jason Leigh. I think this might be her best performance, and she's been in a lot of really great films. The Hateful Eight, Anomalisa, which is a really interesting stop-motion film, Palindromes, which I just watched recently and posted a review on Letterboxd, Existenz, the Cronenberg film, Kansas City, which I did an episode about, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and The Hitcher. This was a pretty influential film, I think. I first saw it in 1992, and I think it's been copied quite a bit, the idea. And I think it hits sort of a basic fear people have of like, who am I inviting into my house? And what if they go crazy or something? So there are a couple of extras on here, not too much. I watched this recently and posted a review on Letterboxd. And if you've been following my channel for a while, my issues I've had with my Panasonic 820, that great machine supposedly, this one did freeze on there. And then the menu wouldn't work properly. I couldn't select any of the options from the menu. Somehow I got it to work. And I think it skipped right ahead to chapter 3. So I had to skip back and start over at chapter 1. And it's not working right in there. So I don't know why, but I did an episode on the things I had, the problems I had with my Panasonic player. So maybe I'll put a link to that if you really want to check it out. So that's what we got. Feel free to leave a comment or suggestion down below. I'm thinking about, for a while now, those big deluxe hammer sets, the Quatermass 2 and the Quatermass Experiment and the Curse of Frankenstein. If any of you have any experience with those, feel free to leave me a comment about that. I'm kind of leaning toward that. I don't know, it's because I'm so isolated because of COVID that I feel like I need to do that. I don't know what's going on. So anyways, leave a comment down below if you'd like to. Leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. Share this with your friends and neighbors. Subscribing is free. Also free is we are on Letterboxd, like I mentioned a few hundred times. And there's a link down below in the notes. It'll take you right there. That's free. What's not free is my ebook is available. It is True Tales from the Teacher Trenches, the ups and downs from 32 years of teaching. It's for your Kindle, or you can use the free Kindle app on the device of your choice. If you have Kindle Unlimited, it's free, part of your subscription service. Otherwise, it's $1.50 on Amazon.com. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Hope you liked this episode. See you next time.